Coming up, the state's first vape-related death.
And a terrifying accident that didn't leave a scratch.
All that and more tonight, October 9th on Evening News.
Hello everyone and welcome to Evening News. I'm Angel Salcido.
And I'm Isha Marate. We begin with today's top stories.
A vape-related illness claimed its first life in Massachusetts on Monday. The victim, a woman in her 60s, was one of more than 100 suspected cases reported to the Department of Public Health since September. 9 of these suspected reports were confirmed, and 10 of these cases are likely to meet the CDC standards of a lung injury due to vaping. Dr. Lawrence Rain of UMass Memorial Hospital in Worcester warns that the disease is still largely unknown. This comes soon after the first vape-related illness was identified in New Hampshire. The New Hampshire Department of Health and Human Services says the person developed respiratory problems and was hospitalized. Chest images reveal that lung issues are similar to other vape-related cases across the U.S. As of October 1st, 1,080 lung issues have been reported, along with 18 deaths.
Abington police received a grim 911 call Monday morning. When a family member went to pick up one of the Zaccardi kids for school, she found the family of 3 children and 2 adults dead in their home. District Attorney Timothy Cruz said all of the deaths were a result of gunshot wounds. Cruz said, quote, "This appears to be an isolated incident. There is no current threat to public safety." The family's next-door neighbor said she heard 4 banging sounds at around 1 a.m. that morning. She thought it was her dumpster in the wind. It wasn't. The district attorney identified the bodies later that day as the parents, Deirdre and Joseph Zaccardi, and their kids, Alexis, who was 11 years old, and twins Nathaniel and Catherine, who were 9. Police are still working to find out what exactly happened in the Zaccardi home.
A 21-year-old woman in Blackstone is facing charges after driving off the road Saturday night. Security camera footage captured her car going off the road, flipping over twice and landing in a nearby family's front yard. The car went down an embankment and tore down 2 lampposts. The driver, Morgan McKenzie, was somehow unharmed. According to the Blackstone Police Department, she will appear in court on charges for speeding and texting while driving.
Police have identified a U.S. Marine as a suspect in an Emerson student's death last weekend. The man they're looking for is back on base in California, but the district attorney is organizing a grand jury for the trial. 19-year-old Daniel Hollis was leaving a college party with his friends on September 28th when a group of young men confronted them. Witnesses say the fight quickly became physical. Hollis was punched and fell to the ground. By the time the police arrived, he was bleeding and unresponsive. He died later that week after massive brain injuries from the fall. We don't know when or if the suspect will be back in Boston, but the district attorney's office says the U.S. Marine Corps is aware of the investigation and is cooperating with the police.
A hearing was scheduled in Salem, Massachusetts on the proposed settlement for the victims of the Merrimack Valley gas explosions. The settlement is worth $143 million, and if a judge approves, payouts will range from $50 to $15,000 for major disruption. Columbia Gas doesn't appear to oppose the term, but some local leaders, including Lawrence Mayor Dan Rivera, want more money to go to the residents affected by the gas leak last month.
Now we go to our political correspondent, Madison Goldberg, with the latest updates on national stories.
Thank you, Isha. About a week ago, Senator Bernie Sanders suffered a heart attack while campaigning in Las Vegas. The senator's physician confirmed that Sanders was diagnosed with myocardial infarction caused by a blocked coronary artery. But regardless of the injury, Sanders is ready to continue his campaign trail.
How are you feeling, Senator?
I feel very good, thank you.
How are you feeling, Senator?
The senator's health is now being questioned by critics and Democrats alike. According to CNN, only 3% of Democrats stated in a Pew Research Center poll that their ideal candidate would be in their 70s. Sanders is still expected to appear in the 4th debate, sponsored by CNN and the New York Times, next week in Ohio. And Richard McDaniel, Elizabeth Warren's campaign national organizing director, has been fired amid complaints of alleged inappropriate behavior. McDaniel stated on the issue, quote, "I would never intentionally engage in any behavior inconsistent with the campaign or my own values," end quote. The inappropriate conduct did not include reports of sexual assault or rape, although details of the complaints have not been released. McDaniel's resume includes working as Hillary Clinton's primary state's regional director and field and political director for Alabama Senator Doug Jones. That's all from me. Back to you at the desk.
When we come back, Olivia Hines has your gloomy 5-day forecast.
And all the latest happening around the world. Don't go anywhere.
Hi, I'm Mary, and I'm a debater on Speechless, and you're watching the Emerson Channel.
President, I am my best friend.
Welcome back to Evening News.
Now let's look to Olivia Hines, who has the weather as we head into next week. How's it looking out there, Olivia?
Been through the night. This nor'eastern storm is expected to worsen on Thursday, with rainfall reaching almost 2 inches and strong gusts of wind up to 25 miles per hour. So be careful walking down Avery Street, folks. On Friday, we will see conditions begin to improve slightly, but still expect lots of wind and rain. The storm will clear up by Saturday evening, leaving us with some nicer weather for the weekend and the holiday on Monday. The day shaping up on Monday is going to be beautiful, with little to no cloud cover. Additionally, temperatures will be back up in the high 60s on Sunday, with sunshine and warmth continuing through Tuesday. That's all for weather. Back to you at the desk.
Facebook anyways, no one's seen it. Well, listen, if the rain hits my hair, I know it's over because it's going to go back to being curly, and this cannot be messed up. So I don't know about you, but I'm worried.
You do have great hair, Angel. I hope it stays safe.
Thank you.
Yeah?
Thank you. 4 people, including 2 juveniles, are facing charges after robbing a driver at gunpoint. Police say the group pulled a juvenile man out of his car Sunday night and robbed him at gunpoint in Beverly. Police responded to a report of armed robbery around 6:30 p.m. The victim says 3 men banged on his window, opened the door, and started punching him as they removed him from the car. The suspects then took the driver's bag and pulled their firearm when he tried to get it back. Arrests have been made: 2 men from Salem, 1 male juvenile and 1 female juvenile.
HIV prevention drugs will be available over the counter in California starting next year. California Governor Gavin Newsom signed the first bill of its kind Monday. The law goes into effect January 1st of 2020. The medications covered by this new bill include pre-exposure prophylaxis, or PrEP, and post-exposure prophylaxis, or PEP. The state's governor said the legislature is a, quote, giant step forward in getting to 0 HIV transmissions, 0 deaths, and 0 stigma, end quote. The law will also ban insurance companies from requiring prior authorization before covering the drug's costs, which can get pretty expensive out of pocket. The Center for Disease Control says that 42% of white men who have sex with men report taking PrEP drugs, but only about 26% of black men who have sex with men report taking PrEP drugs. Newsom hopes this new law will reduce these structural barriers to a healthy life.
The death of a 1-year-old girl in New Hampshire is under investigation. Officers responded to a report of a young girl experiencing health issues in a Manchester hotel. The toddler was found unresponsive and was taken to a nearby medical center where she was pronounced dead. The death is considered suspicious and an autopsy was conducted on Tuesday, but the results were inconclusive. Now let's look to our international correspondent, Max Tenford, who has the latest on what's happening around the world. Max?
The Irish border remains the major sticking point in Brexit negotiations as the October 31st deadline quickly approaches. British Prime Minister Boris Johnson is accusing the European Union of refusing to be flexible on their demands for an open border between the EU member state Ireland and the UK's Northern Ireland. The EU insists that the UK needs to be realistic about how customs checks do not fulfill their commitment to a frictionless border. EU officials worry a blockage at the border could bring back the long history of violence between Ireland and Britain. Both sides insist they will try to get a deal before the deadline, but Johnson has said Britain will leave, deal or no deal, on October 31st. Turkey started their planned military incursion into northeastern Syria this morning, titled Operation Peace Spring. Turkish President Recep Erdogan says the goal of the incursion is to establish a zone for a resettlement camp for 2 million Syrian refugees within Turkey, as well as destroy what they consider to be dangerous Kurdish terrorist cells. However, the Kurdish-led Syrian Democratic Forces in northern Syria have been the United States' best ally against ISIS. Even though many in the SDF feared this attack was coming, President Trump has insisted the pullout is a good move.
We want to bring our troops back home.
Many Kurds consider the pullout a stab in the back by the U.S., and Syrian Kurdish officials have said this attack may force them to turn to Russia or the Assad regime to help defend and support themselves. The 2019 Nobel Physics Prize has been awarded to 3 men for their work on understanding the evolution of the universe and Earth's place in it. Half the award was given to Dr. James Peebles of Princeton College for his discoveries in theoretical cosmology. Dr. Peebles had a major role in both in the creation of the Big Bang model and the discovery of dark matter. The other half of the award was given jointly to Mikhail Mayor and Didier Queloz for discovering the first planet outside of our solar system in 1995. The Swiss scientist's discovery revolutionized our understanding of how planets form. The 3 scientists will share a prize of $918,000, a gold medal, and a diploma. That's all from me. Back to Angel and Nisha.
Thanks, Max. And a local professor is receiving a different Nobel Prize. A Harvard professor will be getting a Nobel Peace Prize. William Kalin Jr. recently won the 2019 Medicine Award alongside Sir Peter Ratcliffe and Greg Semenza. The trio is being recognized for their pioneering research on how human cells can respond to changing oxygen. The Nobel Committee says the award winners are promising new strategies to fight anemia, cancer, and many other diseases. With Kalin's Nobel, Harvard now has 49 current and former faculty members who have received the award. When we return, Avi Carr-Gloth is bringing you all that's going on in the world of sports.
And later, Elizabeth Perkin has the hottest pop culture updates. Stick around.
Why did they leave me? Fast forward rewind was all I had. What is this? It's a call for help. So, will you? Yes! Yes! 1,000 times yes!
Catch Fast Forward Rewind right here on the Emerson channel.
Your one-stop shop for all things orientation.
Come see our shows live at 7 o'clock all of next week.
Can't wait to see you there!
See ya!
Welcome back to Evening News.
We're tossing it over to sports correspondent Avi Carr-Gloth with the latest in sports.
Thanks, guys. Chinese state broadcaster CCTV announced that they would not air the NBA preseason games between the Brooklyn Nets and Los Angeles Lakers scheduled to be played in China this week. This announcement comes after Houston Rockets general manager Daryl Morey tweeted his support for the political demonstrations taking place in Hong Kong. His tweet, which has since been deleted, included an image that read, quote, "Fight for freedom, stand with Hong Kong." NBA Commissioner Adam Silver said that while they are apologetic about the outcome and reaction of the tweet, he also defended Morey, saying, quote, "We are not apologizing for Daryl exercising his freedom of expression," end quote. This tweet and the NBA's response caused several Chinese businesses and sponsors to suspend ties with the league and other individual teams. The Lakers and Nets are still scheduled to play their 2 preseason games later this week. And the New England Patriots announced they would be releasing veteran tight end Benjamin Watson 5 games into the season. Watson was suspended for the first 4 games for violating the NFL's performance-enhancing drug policy and was inactive last week against Washington. New England will save about $2 million by not activating Watson, which could enable them to trade for a good player with a bigger contract later in the season. And finally, former Patriots tight end Rob Gronkowski has been hired by Fox as an NFL analyst. The legendary tight end's decision to enter broadcasting is expected to quiet rumors of a potential playing comeback. Tom Brady told reporters he expects some, quote, hard-hitting analysis from his former teammate. Gronk will make his broadcasting debut on Fox tomorrow during the pregame show of the Patriots' home game against the New York Giants. That's all from me. Back to you, Angel and Isha.
The consumer goods corporation Unilever is making strides to be more environmentally conscious. They are committing to cut their plastic use in half by 2020. Unilever is the maker of Ben & Jerry's, Dove, and more. So you may see some of your favorite brands with some eco-friendly advancements in the coming years.
And late night scrollers, you're in luck. Instagram dark mode is here. It's the latest app to embrace the trend. The social media platform's white background, which can be a rude awakening for you when you're double tapping at night, can be flipped to black and gray in the latest update. It'll save your battery and your eyes. It's definitely something I'm looking forward to trying.
Me too, Isha. Me too. When we come back, Elizabeth Perkin, our entertainment correspondent, has the latest on the stars you love.
Stay right here.
And when I arrive at my destination, I'm gonna kill Bill.
What? Oh, okay, cutting. Sorry, can we get some of this?
Where in God's name is the gaffer's tape?
Hi, I'm Nate.
And I'm Casey, and we're the National Broadcasting Society.
Come out to some of our weekly workshops, or work on some of our sets.
Explore the bigger picture with NBS.
We'll see you there.
All right, let's get another take. Camera, sound.
So yeah, it's like Emerson's very own late night talk show. We've got games like Jimmy Fallon, and we're hot like Jimmy Kimmel, and we've got guests. I'm gonna talk to them. You can talk too, I guess. There's a live studio audience, and they're just gonna laugh at everything we say, and it's gonna be awesome. It's just this never-ending cycle of positivity and community and late night content. I'm gonna wear a suit. You should probably wear one too. What do you think?
I think you should drink up, because it's closing time.
Welcome back to Evening News.
We have Elizabeth Perkin here to tell us all the latest updates on your favorite TV stars.
That's right, guys. The new Bachelor, Peter Weber, is recovering after falling off a golf cart during filming. Weber is in Costa Rica filming this season of The Bachelor when he had a freak accident. He cut his head in a freak accident and was rushed to the hospital. Weber received 22 stitches on his face. Host Chris Harrison says that Weber is okay and filming has resumed. Speaking of reality stars, Chrisley Knows Best, Todd and Julie Chrisley are breathing a sigh of relief today. They have been cleared of state tax evasion in Georgia. The couple were charged in tax evasion, wire fraud, and conspiracy bank fraud back in August. The Chrisleys and the Department of Revenue signed a settlement agreement ending the 2-year investigation. They are still currently facing federal charges, but continue to maintain their innocence following this statement. Jeopardy's Alex Trebek revealing that his condition has worsened. He is resuming chemotherapy after his stage 4 pancreatic cancer has returned. The veteran game show host has sores in his mouth, causing him to slur his words. This may force him to step away from Jeopardy. Trebek says that he will continue doing the show as long as his skills don't diminish, but admits that they are starting to diminish. The 78-year-old is grateful for everyone's prayers at this time.
Well, thank you, Liz, and thank you so much for watching Evening News. I'm Angel Salcido.
And I'm Isha Marate. We'll see you next time. Yeah, it would have been weird to